Good morning, you badass motherfuckers! It's the All on Me, the morning drinking show. I'm your host, Greg. Getting back on this motherfucker once again. Getting back on it. Getting back on this motherfucker once again. From where? Ojo Mystico, Carson National Forest, northern New Mexico. God, this is probably one of the most there's some amazing places on this planet, but this has got to be up there with the best. This has got to be up there with the best of them. This place is sacred, man. It's sacred. That's what all the feedback is. It's incredible space. I'm grateful to be here, man. Grateful to be alive. How are you? Do you wake up with gratitude this morning? Where's your gratitude at? Are you grateful? What you grateful for? Do you wake up in the morning and just say, wow, we got to do this again? We got to do this thing called life again? Holy shit. Or did you already know it was about to happen? Right? A lot of us just expect it to happen. This thing called life. We just, I'm young. I'm 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. I'm just going to keep living until, I'm old, right? And then that's like what, 60s, 70s, 80s. But that's not the promise, man. That is not the guarantee that just because you're a certain age that you're going to get to wake up in the morning, or that something tragic couldn't happen today. I don't look for tragedy. I don't wish for tragedy, but guess what? It's a part of this reality. Tragedy is a part of this reality, right? Many of my close friends, thank you, right? Those of you that are serving with Team Rubicon, I just see the 222 come up out in Mississippi and California. I mean, we got flooding in California. We got devastation in Mississippi and typhoons all over the world, man. Gray shirts, Team Rubicon, right? Are responding, volunteering, man, giving of their time to go and do what, right? To go be like this little beacon of light called hope in someone else's world, man, that's really been devastated. Even loss of life, loss of all possessions, loss of life, man. Most of y'all could not even fucking bear to even comprehend what that would mean for you. To literally lose everything that you emotionally are attached to, whether, I mean, possessions, people, things. I mean, man, we hold on to so much stuff emotionally, and just to think that Mother Nature, man, this thing called nature could just come and whack, smack you back to oblivion, man, back to the start, a start over point in total devastation. It's crazy, and that's happening all over this world right now. And yet we take it for granted, right? Out here in northern New Mexico, we got Good Friday today, right? Easter, Jesus, and there's a big pilgrimage that takes place out here. It's a holy place, man. And when I say pilgrimage, there's people that walk from all over northern New Mexico to go to this little old sacred holy ground of a church called the Santuario de Chimayo, right? And where I drive a lot on the highway, you just see it. Like, there's signs put up, there's roads, there's all kinds of accommodations for walkers, right? These people are going out there and doing a devotion, right, of walking a pilgrimage. And I've done it once, and that's a hell of a story because I had fasted for like 8 days, and I went out there depleted, and in true Greg Foreman fashion, man, I have an incredible story about that pilgrimage, but that's not the message of today. Right? The message of today is having an appreciation, right? I think as humans, right, we look for things to make us appreciate a day, right, of life. We need fucking titles. We need ceremonial shit. to feel like today is really special and I'm going to really be attentive of today. Right? And it's like, I promise you, man, like, the creator, God, wherever your faith is, he don't give two shits about one day or the next. Because in his mind, time isn't even of an essence, right? It says that, one day is like, what, 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is like a day. So time is something that we create. A calendar is something we created. People, humans. I even saw something today that April Fool's was about a manipulation of the Gregorian calendar from one of my old friends. It's like, what? There's all kinds of crazy shit we don't even understand. We don't know, but we just subscribe to it, and we put our emotions and we invest in this shit. And it makes us feel good, right? It makes us feel like we're contributing or that we're being a part of something. Elections are like that, right? When, I voted. Get out and vote. Make a plan to vote. Make sure you make a plan and you have someone even remind you that you make sure you vote because your voice matters. Bullshit, man. It's bullshit. If you still think your voice matters in the box, in the ballot box, you are lying to yourself. And the reason why I say that is, one, I've ran for political office twice. And it's because I was passionate enough to say, man, I want to make a difference in my community. I'm not going to sit here and say, I wonder what it could have been if I had tried politics. And it's like I'm all old and not wanting to do it. I said, no, I'm going to try it. And I did it twice. My first time, man, I definitely had the message, the motivation, and the inspiration there, but I didn't have the system behind me. And that's what I realized is in politics, you're not going to change it. It's going to change you because the powers that be are corrupted to whatever degree you want to define. And that's ultimately what underlines my feeling and sentiment towards politics is it's corrupted. If you think that for some reason that there's a level of corruption, manipulation, an unfair system, that it's not truly serving our best interests as people, that these suckers really have sold out us, them, for greater powers that be, right? Corporate entities, money makers, whatever the fuck, then you voting is you just like pacifying yourself to say, I still want to believe that this system works, that it's just, and I'm virtuous and I'm patriotic, and I really believe that that this is the way to participate in my democracy or my republic, however you want to fucking look at this shit. And it's like, okay. But what I've seen is the ball goes back and forth, right? Every 4 years or every 8 years, depending on how bad shit gets. And when you really just look back on the last, I'm 44, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, all of these promise makers ain't keeping no promises. They're only making shit worse. And yet they're saying they got the solutions to our problems, but yet the problems keep getting worse. The country gets more and more divided. So at the end of the day, you have to start asking yourself, if the person that tells you they got the solution to the problem isn't solving problems, that means they are the problem. And it's not putting the other guys in. It's literally destroying it. The whole system needs to be remade. And I hear a lot of that, and I know that there's a lot of people that feel that way. They feel that way when their team's not in. Right? If their team is in, then they're like, okay, yay, maybe it will be okay. And then their team fucks a bunch of shit up, and then they deny it. You deny it. And yet, when the other team goes in, then you're back to like, we need revolution. This can't be tolerated. This is corruption. This is white, whatever, supremacy. And yet, last election, didn't we have two rich white men that were like in their 70s running for office? That's the best that the United States of America can offer in 2022, 2020, 2020. I don't give a shit what year it is, because I don't even give a shit what day it is. That's the message for today. Good morning. Happy Friday. Happy day of life. I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be more centered, grounded, appreciative of all that is, right? And that doesn't mean that everything is easy. That doesn't mean everything is great. That doesn't mean I don't have a lot of challenge in my life. What it means is that I have grown into the type of man that can stay centered and grounded throughout anything that comes my way. Like whatever waves, emotional challenges, responsibilities, unexpected shits just pop up, it don't mess me up. It doesn't trigger me into a lower state of being like it used to, right? It used to do that. And a lot of times it used to actually push me towards addiction issues, man. July's not that far. I can see it from here. July, right? That'll be 11 years of alcohol sobriety. And I've been very vulnerable and transparent about getting high on weed and shit last year, really for a couple years, and giving that up in December. So I'm over 4 months on that journey too, because again, I truly do believe in this living this clean, clear life, right? And just taking life on as it comes my way. So when people ask me, well, what do you think is going to happen? Is it going to be revolution? Is it going to be singing Kumbaya? Everybody's just going to hug and kiss and love and be at peace with each other. And I'm like, I don't really care what happens, right? I'm just trying to make sure that no matter what happens, right? If we go the peaceful route or we go the less peaceful route, I'm ready. I'm ready. I hope you're ready. Most of you aren't, right? And I think that's a big reason why I keep getting back on here, is trying to challenge you, right? I mentioned earlier this week how a friend of mine in his mid 60s, right, caught this message a few times, a very religious guy, faithful guy. And when he heard the message, it's like he can't say it's full of shit. He's just like, dude, it challenged me. And it should be challenging you. That's the intent. I mean, we're so afraid of fucking challenges nowadays. Why? Why are you afraid of challenges? Why are you allowing that little bitch voice inside of you, which is really your inner child that's been traumatized, that's been hurt, it's carrying around a lot of insecurity, right? That little inner voice that is afraid, that is scared, that doesn't want to do new things or bigger things, better things, try stuff, right? Get out of the boat, cut people off that are continuing to hold you back, right? Because we all want this sense of attachment and acceptance. We don't want to feel abandoned and rejected for sure. And I know that because I've transcended those feelings. That's why I can get on here so clearly spoken. Yes, the language is what it is, right? The language is very direct. The language is intense. And I always say that the intensity of my message and the language I choose to use is only equal to what? The degree of suffering in this world, man. We ain't gonna just be able to pat tummies and pat bottoms, rub tummies and pat bottoms to make coddle people. Hey, it's gonna be okay. That's been happening, right? They say, right? Right? That we're coming up on hard times because people have gotten soft, too soft, right? I actually think women are getting harder than men, right? My observation, more women are doing the emotional work, the detachment work, and even the gym work, man. I see a lot of intense warrior women out there putting in the work, and it's not because men haven't shown up. It's because there's a duality of messaging and programming, right? Trying to get women to, take more of an active role in providing and doing all these things that would be maybe considered masculine. However, men are just drained like a motherfucker. They're working, most men are working shit jobs. And, you know, everyone has to be responsible for themselves. That's what's really, really important in this life, is that you got to be responsible for yourself, right? I was that guy, right? I had become a dad bod type man, right? Getting home exhausted. When I didn't want to dominate my family when I get home, right? After working a fucking 9 to 5 job, punching a clock, right? I just wanted a hug, a kiss, a high five, a hot meal, something, right? And a lot of times I wouldn't even get that. So it's like even the love and appreciation wasn't there. So it's like, a lot of men feel like they get reduced down to a paycheck. And so they don't really get that respect and that nurturing that they need from their from their lovers, their caregivers, their not their caregivers, their spouses, and even their children to a many degree. And so I think that there's a situation where relationships from a traditional standpoint have been under attack for a long time. And I think in that, maybe it's by design, maybe it's not. It doesn't matter. What matters is that whether you're a man or a woman or you're somewhere in between, or you just want to pick and choose whatever fuck you are, the important piece is that everyone is carrying around suffering, mental, emotional suffering. And yet I just feel from my perspective, I'm seeing a lot more women, right, really, really get after it. I'm seeing men start to embrace it too, but guys seems to be a lot more stubborn, right? Guys seem to be the guys, because I think maybe that's part of our nature. We're the fix it, I can fix it, I can do it. And so we don't like to ask for help. We're not used to asking for help. We suppress our emotions a lot more. When I think women, at least when they connect with other women or other people, they're more talkative. They're more willing to be vulnerable and emotional, talk about their emotions, talk about their feelings. And guys, we don't know what the fuck that even is. To where I met some ladies recently, and this one kept asking me, where did you come from? Like, men don't talk like this, right? Because even the way I talk a lot with the healing and the emotions and just all of this deeper level of healing and spirituality, a lot of dudes that kind of are flowing like that, are vibing like that, they're not as masculine, right? As I present. And I hope that I can inspire more men to really get in touch with themselves, to get in touch with their feelings. Because man, I was talking to a brother of mine last night, and we talk on a regular basis, and we have a lot of similarities in our background, primarily military experience, but even our family dynamics are a lot aligned. And so we try and connect on a lot of things, and yet he's a very, you know, deep thinker type guy, and so am I. And so when we have these conversations, it's very empowering that we can actually talk about the emotional piece. We can talk about how when we act out, right? Just going throughout whatever day it is. We have these things that trigger us, and then we usually take out a negative emotional response to our what? Dogs. He was talking about dogs yesterday. That he struggles. He snaps at his dogs. And I told him, well, I have some of the same similar issues. I have snapped at my dog in the past, but a lot of times I see myself snapping at, my kids. And yet, most recently, and this is where the growth is. This is where the beauty of healing is that what I'm realizing now is that pattern of being triggered, and even if it's just an outburst, not snapping like beating their asses. I mean, I'm talking about just an outburst or just being short-tempered or being irritable, that I would take it out on them for doing something that's like really surfacey stuff when I'm probably stressed out, maybe about some responsibilities, some finances. There's some other things happening in my psychology, right? That is like this under pattern. And it's like I'm looking for somewhere to place my pain. I'm looking for something to blame for that uncomfortable feeling. And it's when we have that pattern and that habit, this is the real talk here, it's when you get to a point of healing where you can see it. You can see the triggers and see the pattern and say, fuck, I'm feeling I'm feeling this irritation pop up because someone's doing something that's not worthy of me being irritated or getting upset about. But it's really, there's something deeper inside of me that I'm actually more concerned with, but yet I'm looking for somewhere to place the pain, the emotional pain. I'm looking for somewhere to vent it, as opposed to just sitting in my meditative state, in my journaling state, and really just sitting there, even when it bubbles up. And instead of saying something or doing something, just thinking and saying, what is going on here? I just noticed a shift in my energy. What is going on here? Let me think. Yeah, I'm dealing with that, and I'm dealing with this too, and those things are pretty significant, and they're definitely things that are worthy of stressing me out and making me feel frustrated or whatnot. And then you can just kind of sit there and process it, and then come back into the reality of like something else that's going on, and being like, I can accept this. This is not that big of issue. We can either have a conversation about it, but not have to do something that I would later either regret, right? Something I would say or something I would do. And that's really self mastery at its finest. And that's what 10 plus years of being on this healing journey is starting to manifest in my life real time, to where I'm really, really, really the observer of what's going on in my body. And that's a powerful thing. That's what makes every day a good day, every day a wonderful day. I've been telling people it's a wonderful day. People ask you, how you doing? Wonderful. And it's just like, I'm doing wonderful because my state of being is this. It's like I laugh about the silliest of things, and sometimes even the serious of things, because there's joy in my heart, there's joy in my mind, there's joy in my emotions. And that doesn't mean I don't feel anger, that doesn't mean I don't feel stress, but I'm finding new ways to channel and process those emotions so that they don't take me down a path that, again, is going to lead me to regret or addiction or all kinds of negative situations. And yet here I am on my ranch, and it's like I'll start here today and I got other things to do in other places and responsibilities. And it's like I'm just going to fly through the day regardless of what comes up. Today could actually turn out to be an incredibly challenging day, right? Jumping through fiery hoops, getting knocked the fuck down, having to get up. I mean, who knows? It's unknown what today is going to truly possess. But what I'm telling you is that I am mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically ready for anything. And that's what I'm trying to inspire you guys to do, so that every day could be a wonderful day. So you don't have to just say, oh, well, I'm looking for these holidays to feel good, right? To care about my family, to care about myself, to care about my spirituality, right? That every day I care about those things: myself, my family, my spirituality, my health, right? My mindfulness. Like every day we should be caring about that stuff, even other people. And that's this whole program since the start, is what do I do every single day as a routine, right? That keeps me improving myself, even if it's just a little at a time. Because over the past year plus that I've even been doing this message, I have improved myself every single day, a little at a time. Some days it feels like, man, we are moving mountains because major breakthrough is happening. And other days it feels like I'm getting kicked in the nuts over and over again. But guess what? I still get back up and I still find a way to smile about it and learn from the challenge and say, wow, that was fucking challenging. That was a character building day. It kicked my ass. I'm a little beaten up, but I'm not broken. I'm not destroyed. And I will be able to learn from the lessons in this day to be able to apply to the next day and whatever day beyond that I get, because ain't no guarantees, motherfuckers. And yet I continue to see people consuming content like this, but not acting on it. And that's the challenge right now, right? It's time to start acting on the content that you're hearing. If you're someone that's like this self-help, motivational, affirmational junkie, and you're always listening to this stuff, but you're still like plain scared to step out and to do something incredible that could potentially transform your whole entire life and give you something that you have always either longed for, desired, dreamed of, right? Whatever it is, it's like now's the time, right? You have the choice today, right? You could either watch things happen, right? You could watch other people doing their life, being happy, traveling, right? Being in love, all kinds of stuff. You could watch other people, right? You could wait for things to happen in your life. You could sit around and wait for love to come your way. You could wait for a new opportunity. You could wait for money to come in, right? You could wait for it to be just right to start some new nutrition. Or, right, you could be a motherfucker that starts to make shit happen in your life, right? You take action. And a lot of times we're afraid to take action because we don't know what to do. And that's all bullshit. Because right now, some of you may not realize this, depending on your age and your upbringing, because there is a technological gap here in this world where kids today, I mean, man, they're so advanced with this tech. But you think about it. In today's society, the information of the world is right here at our fingertips. Look at this technology. I press a button and I'm literally my own live TV station. Like, what the fuck? I'm able to just press a button and go live global. Anybody that logs onto this live feed can watch me and give my message, share my opinion, share my thoughts with the whole entire fucking world, man. You don't got to be a TV station. You don't got to be a corporation to do this stuff, to broadcast your message to the world. You just press a button on a freaking piece of technology. It's incredible. That same piece of technology, man, you don't even have to type anymore. You just say the magic words, which is very different than magic tricks. You say the magic words, and the assistant on your phone, right, will do the math problems for you. Will bring up the best things, the best way to learn anything you want to learn in like an instant. Right? If you are doing any kind of home renovation, you basically just say the magic word. You don't even got to type anymore. Just say the magic word and it'll bring you up how to do the installation of whatever it is you're trying to do. Right? And it's like a 20-minute video and you save yourself $12,000, $1,200 because you're willing to do the work. Again, waiting, watching, or making shit happen. And yet, that is what is the requirement in this life, is for you to choose. And if you're choosing to just watch things happen, then that's what you get to do, right? Don't carry on, man. Keep watching things happen. Keep cheering for people that will never cheer for you, right? That's what excites you. Cheering for people that will never cheer for you, that don't know you, they don't see you, right? That's it. And you're okay doing that. As if somehow you're less than the person that's making gazillions of dollars living their best life by doing something that they did as a kid and became really good at it. And yet you're sitting there cheering them on nonstop, investing all this time and energy and watching these people perform. And yet your life is your own performance. And that's why so many of us really cling to these days as if somehow this day is better, because if somehow I do something today that's sacrificial, if somehow I walk this long distance today, that somehow God is going to be more pleased with me than he was yesterday when I just sat around eating and fucking doing dick, right? Or tomorrow when I sit around and overdrink and get in a fight with my spouse and, neglect my kids and all this other bullshit, right? Somehow the Creator's going to be so pleased with you for being so noble today in sacrificing, or this weekend, or Sunday, or any one day, when it should be consistency of life and truly valuing what it is that you have. The greatest gift from God, the Creator of all the things I'm enjoying right this moment, is life. The second gift is connection, right? Connection with other human beings, right? And it's also the power to be able to disconnect from people that ain't no good for you. That's a very powerful thing, because as you disconnect from people that are not right for you, guess what? You're going to attract people that are. But most of us that stay attached to people that aren't treating us good, it's because we're not treating ourselves good, and we have such low self-worth. But like attracts like. So somebody that you think is abusing you or neglecting you or mistreating you, guess what? It's like you've attracted that into your life, because that is who you are. And that's a tough piece of truth to fucking swallow right there. But today is a beautiful day, right? And I think back on the last 2 weeks, very challenging in my life. But every single day, I stuck to my plan. I put one foot in front of the other. I moved through the challenges as best as I could, so that I could feel proud of myself at the end of the day. So that I could wake up in the morning with my journal, in the reflection I do, and say, hey man, I'm really proud of you. Wow, that was super challenging, and yet you got through it, right? You didn't shrink. You worked every piece you could. And it's like, when you come off of the battlefield like that, when you come off of a situation that's just been, man, kicking your ass, and you've been giving your all. It's one thing when you're just, life's kicking your ass and you're not even fucking trying. You've just given up, you've tapped out, and life just still won't leave you alone. That's because it's trying to get you to respond, right? It's trying to get you to step the fuck up and make shit happen, right? Because we're not consumers of this life. You can't just sit on the sideline of your life and just be an observer of what's actually happening, right? I mean, I guess you can. That's the sad thing, is you can. That's wouldn't be the best situation for you, right? If you wanted to improve your life, then you got to jump in the game called life. You have to start waking up with some major intentions and thinking big, right? That's what's so beautiful about life, is that what you imagine, you can create. The things that are in your mind, whatever it is, a better life, better health, better nutrition, better experiences, right? Better relationships, right? Better finances, anything, anything that you can imagine in your mind, right? You're not going to just think it and it happens. You're going to have these thoughts and start believing that whatever vision you can see is possible. And then you're going to start getting challenged, right? By content like this. You're going to even just start getting inspiration in the quietness of your own day. That's like an idea that pops up out of nowhere. But maybe it didn't, because it's probably an idea you've had for a while. But then it's like, what are you going to do? Are you going to act on it? Right? Are you going to take that first step and say, all right, man, I'm tired of thinking about this. I want to try it. I want to try this. I want to try and start a business. I want to try and go back to school. I'm willing to try to sign up for some life coaching or some health coaching, or I want to try, running a triathlon or a marathon, or, a Spartan race. I mean, there's just so many different things that you could try that would truly challenge you enough, right, to build self-confidence. Because that's probably the missing ingredient as to why you're not doing. You're still thinking, you're still watching, you're still waiting for shit to happen to be just right, That when someone comes along and says, hey, man, I got an idea for you, or hey, man, I can help you out if you were looking to do something. I'm good. I'm good. Just leave me alone, man. I'm good. You know, when people usually pop up into my life, new ideas, new experiences, it happened a few weeks ago. I met some people and they were like, oh yeah, we're in town. They were at the motel and they're like, oh, we're in town. We're going to a sweat lodge. And I'm like, really, a sweat lodge? Where's that at? And they told me and I was like, when is it? And I went. I was like, that's cool, man. I want to go check that out. I'm just all about it. I'm so curious about life and different experiences because the one thing I struggle with is being at peace with how much I understand about this world. Like, what is really going on? What is all of this, man? What is it all about? I struggle with it. And the way that I kind of pull back from that struggle is to just have gratitude for what I at least understand, right? And what I have control over. And what I don't have control over is how did all this world come into reality? I don't understand that. It's crazy. All the different beliefs, all the different religions, all the different ceremonies, just it's pretty incredible, right? And then you even look at like the ancient stuff and you're like, man, what is all this stuff? I've seen hieroglyphic stuff that's just like, man, this is not a human thing. What were these people seeing? And yet I stay neutral on it. I do believe in God. I do believe there's a creator. But there's a lot of mystery behind all aspects of what we're actually experiencing. And because there's mystery, where I find my own sanity is I say, okay, I'm just going to leave space for that unknown, right? Instead of driving myself crazy, trying to act as if I know everything when I don't. I just don't. And I'm pretty sure you don't either. But I'm open to listening and to having conversations that are really profound, thought-provoking, philosophical, right? Esoteric, like all kinds of cool shit. Like I love those conversations. I love hearing what people believe, what they don't believe, what they think is true and what they don't. It's really interesting how many different ideas there are in this world about how did all this come to be, right? None of us have seen a mountain grow. Like I love collecting rocks all the time, and it's like, where did all these rocks come from? Here's a pretty cool quartz crystal, right? It's like, where does this come from, man? Like, it's just like broken on the side of a hill that's dirt and like lava and stuff. Like, I just wish I could like go in like a time machine and kind of just see how this, volcanic earth was, different atmosphere or something. I just get curious about stuff like that because I think even the books and the school doesn't even fully know what the hell it's all about. And so then that breaks down a lot of other shit, is to just being grateful for life, right? And truly being grateful for life. I mentioned the other day to somebody that so many of you that are waiting and watching things happen, not making it happen in your life, it's like you're taking it for granted, right? That's the truth. You're taking your life for granted. And yet, if I was to offer you $10 million right now, right, most of you would get pretty excited. Well, what? Really? $10 million? Yeah, but here's the kicker. You don't get to wake up tomorrow. And you don't get to hand the money off. But here's 10 million. Most of you wouldn't take me up on that, right? Guaranteed today's your last day. But here's $10 million. Go do what you want with it. Most of you wouldn't do that. So then what does that tell you? That your life is worth more than 10 million fucking dollars. That one more day of life is worth 10 more million dollars. But yet, what are you doing with your life? And some of you are like, well, I'm going to a job I hate. I'm married or in a relationship with someone I don't truly love. And I don't even know and love myself. And I'm financially stressed. I'm emotionally broken. I'm spiritually bankrupt. I'm physically defeated. And yet you're still not sure of what to do. What gives? Like, seriously. You do know what to do, but let's just face the facts. You don't want to do it, do you? You don't want to do it. Something in your head's telling you it's too hard. It's too hard, is it? Is it really too hard? How come other people have gotten out of your situation, myself included? Myself included, it's right there, man. How did I do it? Right? How did I do it? Because I'm telling you, if I can do it, you can do it. You can do anything that you put your mind to and that you invest your heart in, right? You get your heart hooked up into that plan of yours, it's game over, man. You will make anything happen, right? Like it's like boom, you win. Win, win, win. And yet I know I'm going to be on this message for a long time because there's a lot of stubborn motherfuckers out there, right? That don't want to do the shit. You don't want to do it, right? You'll just continue to watch, continue to wait, and not make shit happen. And I will keep getting back on this motherfucker. And again, I come unrehearsed. Today, I'm out here. It's a beautiful day. It's a little chilly. It's supposed to get warm, though. We're supposed to be getting into some, probably more expected type spring weather, but still freezing at night, right? That's New Mexico, northern New Mexico. We can get into the 50s, the 60s, and even the 70s in the next few days. But then, in the nighttime, it drops to 30. So that's a big range, man. 40-degree pluses and minuses. There's a lot of memes out there about New Mexico, man. It's like you get all four seasons in one day. It could snow in the next hour and then get, 70 by 1 and then kind of go into fall and back into winter at night. So it's wild weather. That's why I don't get too caught up on getting the meltdowns about my expectations. And I think that's what most people are suffering from right now. And there's an incredible book I'd recommend. It's called The Untethered Soul. And, so many of us have these expectations, right, for everything. And when our expectations aren't met, we're not happy. And it's bullshit because the same way that you would feel if you remember what it is to fall in love, or if you could imagine how you would feel if you won the lotto, or if you imagined what it'd feel like to be flying off on your dream vacation, it's like you can feel that way every single day. And that's how I feel. Like I know that if those three things were to happen, like um would it would I go farther than I am right now? Yes, but my baseline for just being content, happy, excited, positive, upbeat, optimistic, motivated, hungry, happy, joyful, peaceful, ambitious is off the charts. Like that's the baseline. Most of you, the baseline is miserable, depressed, down, low energy, brain fog, um, unmotivated, right? Sad, lonely, anxious, worried, hurt, triggered, right? And it's like that's your choice too. So you do create your reality. If you think today is Good Friday, I'm going to challenge you to say, we'll copy and paste that tomorrow, the next day, and every day after that you get. Every day should be Good Friday. Every day should feel like Friday. Every day should feel like a holiday, right? Whether you're going to a job that's not your favorite or you're going on vacation, like you should still show up as the best version of yourself. Because at the end of the day, you need to realize that you have choice in your life, even if you don't feel like you have choice. You can choose to quit a job that is high paying income for you that you're super dependent on. You can choose that. There may be some consequences or some lifestyle changes, but I'll be honest with you. I know a lot of people that have given up on those like career jobs and are like doing van life shit now all over the country and have like this incredible sense of freedom and quality of life because they're not anchored to like a home straddled with this whole like keeping up with the Joneses and trying to impress everybody with a big house on the fucking cul-de-sac. It's like, there's freedom in just kind of being a wanderer, right? You don't have to be locked down. And yet so many people want to dress to impress, want to put on the front, want to feel like the stuff is what makes them happy. And it's not. Because again, I started the show talking about how natural disaster could literally wipe your shit out in a fucking half second. And what are you going to do then? You got to get back to the core of who the fuck you are. And if you're a negative person, yeah, you're probably going to be someone that's not going to make it through that. Right? There's a lot of suicide post natural disasters because people are like, oh, well, the government didn't come and save me. I've literally been in Panama Beach, Panama City, Florida, right? Total devastation in Florida, and people's whole entire lives in existence wiped out. And here comes FEMA, right? Uncle Sam, here comes the government to save the day. Oh, you lost all your possessions? You've lived here for 50 years? Here's $275 for you to rebuild. I mean, this shit is real talk, man. And then, oh, you didn't have insurance? Or, oh, you were underinsured? Good luck with this, man. We take it for granted, folks. Quit taking life for granted, right? Come up with a plan. If you can't come up with a plan, guess what? I can help to inspire you even beyond just the show. Reach out. Reach out. Let me inspire you by working with you to truly start to come up with a plan. A plan for what do you want and why, right? It sounds simple, but a lot of times, unless you have accountability, someone else, another responsible adult to hold you accountable, to kind of get you going along the way so you can build that momentum, build that momentum, right? In your life, right? You're not going to get it going the way you could. And I'm here for you, right? I am here for you. I will keep getting on this motherfucker. I'm going to keep enjoying my life. I'm going to keep sending you guys some positive vibes, some inspiration, and a whole bag full of fucking challenge, motherfucker. Challenges upon challenges, because I know this shit ain't what you want to hear. It's what you need to hear. But you know the drill, motherfuckers. Results kill excuses. It's all on me. Greg's out.